I'm Julie Ford, and I'm a self-taught artist, and I find, like many people, there's not a lot of time to paint. So these evenings or these sessions are about just enjoying some relaxed time, taking your mind off the stress of life. We're not trying to create amazing artwork. We're trying to enjoy the process and learn as we go along. And you'll learn a lot from my mistakes, but hopefully you'll enjoy it and get a bit of chill time. So we're doing watercolour, and the image we're doing today is this beautiful bougainvillea. You can download the reference photo from my school community. It's free to join. The reference photo is there, and also this line drawing. Now I find the easiest way to transfer you'll need a set of watercolour paints, or you can do it in gouache. You don't need many tools, so I've probably got, there, 4 brushes, a big one, medium, small, and a rigger brush. My pencil is just to transfer my image onto the paper. I'm using Langton cold pressed knot paper, so it's got a bit of texture. And I'm going to transfer my image onto my paper with chalk. You can either use coloured chalk or pastel, soft pastel will do it. You can also do, the standard transfer where you draw over the lines, turn it back, draw over the lines on the other side, and then draw over it onto your paper. But this way, you only have to do it on one side, and it transfers your image the correct way round. Plus, I'm using chalk, so it will disappear easier. I'm using pencil just to go over the lines. The chalk will transfer onto my page, and then I can use my pencil just to put in any extra bits, any extra lines, or not extra, but to make it darker, more seeable. And with this sort of picture, you don't need it to be exact. You just need some basic lines so you know where you're going, where there's some foliage coming, the lines of the door. If you look at my last video, it was like a French window with shutters, and I thought to save time I wouldn't use the line drawing, and I ended up getting the perspective wrong. So you'll see in my video that it looks like it's straight on, and in actual fact it was slightly off to the side view. So if you go back and do that, I would recommend use the line drawing rather than follow my lead in the video. As I say, you will learn from my mistakes, but the only way we get better is to practice, and this is a great way of just getting a little bit of time to yourself. Shut the door, relax. It takes away all the stresses and strains of the day, and at the end you have something, hopefully, that you will be pleased with. And if you're not pleased, you will have learned something, and I always learn something. I'm very rarely really happy with what I've done, but there we are. So you can probably see I've got a bit, it's a very soft, chalky outline. Now, as soon as I paint over this, the chalk lines will disappear. So I'm going to mark in some lines that I want to keep. Not so worried about the foliage, but the door, where you need the symmetry and the sizes, I'm going to put the lines in pencil. You can use pastel pencil, because pastel is water soluble, so it will disappear when you paint over it as well. But I'm going to use quite bright colours in this, which means that these lines will get painted over anyway. I really like this trunk. I love bougainvillea, whatever it's called. Okay. And it shouldn't take us any more than an hour. The last couple have been about 50 minutes. So that's really good. Because we don't want to spend all our lives doing it, but it's nice just to do a bit. So there is also in my school list, and in the Google album there is also a list of my standard colours, which is basically, let's clean this up, a lemon yellow, a warmer yellow, that's this cadmium over here, or an Indian yellow is very warm as well. 2 reds, but in this, because it's bougainvillea, we have some really bright pinks here, and I probably need to get a little bit more of that out. Bear with me. Should have done this before. So that is, I've got an opera pink, which is a lovely pink for a bougainvillea. This is Jackson's opera pink. If you've got any rose, or this is permanent rose. These sort of colours are lovely. So I've got a reddy red, pinky reds for the bougainvillea. I will probably be using ultramarine, which is your mauvey blue. Cobalt will work, but I like ultramarine because it mixes well with the yellows to get different greens. I do actually also have a sap green here, and I will probably be using some burnt sienna and maybe raw umber for the wall and the tree trunks. So we have some sky up here, so I am going to start by putting in some of that, and that is really quite bright. And I've got this one blue looking dirty by the look of it. That's okay. Right. I've got 2 bowls of water. I've got one for cleaning my brush and one for dipping my brush into. Before I go to another colour. Now we've got a wall here, so we will utilise that. Okay. I'm going to go straight in actually and put a wash of blue over my door. And I'm going to kind of cut in a bit where my foliage comes. So we're going to put our first wash in over here. This is just plain ultramarine. And you will see how much how much lighter it dries than you think. There's some foliage coming up here as well, so we'll kind of paint into that. Put that in after. You have to paint quite quickly with watercolour because it will dry very fast, particularly if you're somewhere quite warm. And at the moment I'm based in England, but we're having a bit of a heat wave. So I am certainly not going to grumble about that. I'm going to pick up this bit of water up here because I don't want that to run. Now I can use this blue for some of my leaves, but what I want to do first of all, I'm going to put in some of this wall, and for my wall I think I'm going to use, I want it to be, yeah, this is burnt sienna. I don't want it to run too much. And again, I've got foliage that's coming up all around here. And I'm painting out that blue box, and I'm going to have a plain wall. I see where this comes down here. So I'm not taking that angle of that wall back, because you want to try and simplify things where you can. Down here it gets a bit more shadowy. So I've added a little bit of blue just to make it a little bit more shadowy. And again, we've got some of this over the other side. And this might be a bit dark, but we'll see. Probably not. I'm going to paint round my tree trunk. This is shadowy under here, if you can see. So I'm mixing my blue with my burnt sienna to give me a grey. This is some shadow colour down here. And I'm going to lift that out a bit. Got some in here. And where else? Down at the bottom it goes bright again. So I want a clean one. I want it clean down here. And maybe even add a little bit of yellow into it. So across the step, I can put shadow in later. But I think I want this to look like there's some sunlight hitting it. There we are. And that can come kind of across here. Okay. Now, up here, I'm going to do some wet and some dry. So I'm going to drop in some water. And while that's kind of settling into the paper, I'm going to get some colours ready, because I want some nice bright yellows in some areas, and where it's dry it will sit, and where it's wet it will run, and then I can paint in. I want a little bit of blue in that as well. I can begin to paint in some of my bougainvillea. Now, last time I overdid all of this and it got much too busy. So this is my kind of, let's see if I can do it this week better. Want some shadowy colour in there. And some of this. Yeah, just see what happens. Some very, very dark green up there, so that's my ultramarine. And I'm going to go with my darker yellow. Leave some space for my flowers up here. Some of it's going to run into this. I am really trying not to make it too busy, but I keep overdoing it, so we'll see. see how we go. Right, so I think that I'm actually all right with that. I think at the moment that needs to be a bit greener, so let's add in some more lemon yellow. I can paint around this after. This is all very, very pink around here, isn't it? So some dark green here, some very dark green under here and in the middle. So I haven't used many colours at the moment. That could go even darker in there. And if I put a little bit of burnt sienna in here, get some even darker where there'd be quite a bit of shadow. Some of that area is going to be even darker. And I can, don't forget, I can do this again when it's dried out a little bit. I quite like the way some areas are running and some areas aren't at the moment. Okay, let's try some pink. So I'm washing off my brush, dipping it in clean water, and I am going to go in with one of these very vivid pinks. And again, the same thing. Some areas are dry, some are wet. It's going to run in some places, not in others. And I'm just going to see what happens. Try and keep that colour clean. There's quite a big raft of it down here. I keep it away from that green. If it mixes with that yellow, it's going to go more of an orange, which is absolutely fine. There we are. Okay, not looking too bad. Don't forget I'm going to paint over it as well. Now, I want some, this is quite dark, this one here. So let's go back into my burnt sienna. Now that just looks much too brown. It's actually more this. So if you add some of this ultramarine in, you begin to get a nice neutral grey. And over here, this isn't all dark, you've got some light bits here. This is dark, that comes down here. The other side is light. And down here it goes dark again. So I'm just looking. This colour is also around the door frame. that dark around that door frame is what sets off that bit of bark on the tree. And there's a shadow under there as well, which I need to make sure I capture. So this is quite dark under here. That's fine, because that's all going to run into that. Don't forget, you can always go darker. Got some shadows down here where the grass cuts in. Got a shadow under this tree here. Might make that a little bit more blue, so it looks more like a shadow. That's it. Got shadow definitely down here. It's a bit dark around here. How are we doing? Okay. I'm just going to lift out this wet bit so that I don't get run backs. If you have water pooling, and this is at a very slight angle, this. Now I've got some green leaves over here coming out all this way. I'll put a light one on first, and then might just drop some darker green into it. That's it, it can run into the brown, that's quite good, I like that. Into the yellow. A bit of light on it, and I'll drop a little bit of dark into this up here. There we are. It's okay. Got a bit of that as well over here, but just make it a bit less obvious. Right, so I've still got my what do you call it? Trunk. So I've got a little bit of my lemon yellow and a little bit of my burnt sienna. I want this to look a bit more sun-kissed. And that is all dark under there, so I think I'll just merge that a bit so it doesn't look like it's got light on it. That's it. Up in here, I think we've got some lighter green. So my lemon, a little bit of my blue. Okay, how are we doing around here? I'm going to drop some darker shade into this. Some areas, that's too blue. That's better. Don't want it all over, but maybe on one side. That's okay. my blue door. I'm going to go darker, and I was using just plain ultramarine, so I've got to make sure that's clean. And I have put some yellow in there, so let's make sure it's better. Okay. Right. So I'm going to paint in some of this Okay, I want that to be a really nice rich blue, but that actually has some light across it that I haven't accounted for, but I can lift out some areas by going in. If you've got good paper, you can literally go in with clean wet brush and lift out some areas. So you can lift some out and then you can put some back in again. So I want it to look like there's some lighter bits. Let's pull some of this out. And again, I can paint around it with a bit more dark. Okay, now down here we have a bit of a shadow along the bottom of the door. That's darker. A shadow under here. And across here we've got some kind of texture. There's a bit more of this tree thing going on out here. Tree thing, you know what I mean. Drop a bit of blue into that. Okay. Now how are we doing up here? Aha, so round here, around the door jamb, I've completely missed out that we have some of this stonework. That's what we have down the side. Well, I made that into a lintel by the look of it. Okay. Lift out anything that's too wet. That's darker down there. That in. Okay. Let's lift out a little bit of this, and then I'm going to paint a little bit darker in again. You can only really do this if you've got good paper. Now let's let's go back to my flowers. So these have dried quite a bit now, so I'm going to go back in with paint that's not so wet. Kind of darken, brighten up some of these areas. I want to leave a bit of light. It's one of the things I'm a bit bad at doing. Got some real dark bits in here as well. So I've gone into with a slightly different red here. It's more of a warm pillar box red, because there's some really vibrant areas in the middle. Knowing when to stop is the difficulty. I think I quite like the way this bit looks here. Yeah, that's given it a bit more vibrancy in some of those areas. That really, really bright red. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit more green dark. Ah, it's kind of what I wanted. It's running a bit, that's fine. Getting dark here. Hopefully you can still see all right. Now, one last thing I think. Let's put some more blue on this door. That's cool. Put down there. Put a bit of shadow down this side. And this side. It's darker down there. I'm really losing the light, so hopefully you can still see. Now what I also do still need to do is add in my little, it's got a little knocker but it might be too wet. Yeah. But to be fair, I think I'm going to call that done. That's it. And hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me. Hope to see you next week. Do share if you've enjoyed it. Do share, do give me a thumbs up. Do subscribe, come and join me over on my school thing, which is free, and we'll play some more. Thank you.